Choosing when to file with the Social Security Administration, SSA, is the single biggest financial choice you will make after age 50, 62, 67, or 70. Pick the wrong year, and the math shows you could lose over $100,000 across your lifetime. Most people guess, and unfortunately, most people guess wrong. If you are deciding between those three ages right now, you are looking at what can be a six-figure gap in your benefits. I am not your financial advisor. I am simply looking at public records here, so please talk to a professional for your specific plan. We are looking at the three factors that decide your monthly check: the permanent cut you take at 62, a hidden penalty for working while retired, and the 8% annual bonus for those who wait. The math does not lie, but it is often ignored until it is far too late. To understand that potential loss, we have to look at age 62. If you were born in 1960 or later, your full retirement age, FRA, is exactly 67. That is the age the government says you can get your full benefit. Claiming early at 62 is tempting, but it can come at a steep price. Filing at 62 cuts your monthly benefit by 30%. That is nearly 1/3 of your check gone forever. It is not a temporary drop. It is a permanent blow to your monthly income. I know why many of you want to grab the money now. We have all seen reports suggesting the trust funds could face depletion in the mid-2030s. You want to get your share before the rules change. That fear is relatable, and it is why people rush to file. But what if you realize later that the math didn't work in your favor? Most people think there is no way back once the checks start arriving. Actually, there is one escape hatch, but you only have a few months to use it. However, a 30% cut is only half the story if you plan on working part-time. There is a rule that can lead to your checks being withheld if you have not reached your full retirement age. This is the Social Security Earnings Test, or FACT4. If you claim early but keep working, the SSA may withhold a big part of your check. For 2026, there is a strict limit on how much you can earn before they withhold benefits. If you earn even $1 over that limit, the government will withhold $1 for every $2 you earn above that cap. Imagine the frustration. You worked hard all your life. You finally filed for your benefits, but because you kept a job, your checks are temporarily withheld. Therefore, you are accepting a permanent 30% cut, and then you may not even get to keep the smaller checks yet because you are still working. It is a difficult situation. Now, this money is not gone forever. Once you reach age 67, the SSA will recalculate your payment to account for those withheld months. But for many people, the math shows that claiming at 62 can be a huge mistake. The good news? If you can wait, the current rules provide a bonus for your patience. Once you pass age 67, the game changes from avoiding penalties to collecting credits. For every single year you wait past 67, all the way until 70, your benefit goes up by 8. This is according to FACT3. Think about that. Where else can you find an 8% annual increase in your base benefit provided by a federal program? It simply does not exist in the private market. If you claim at 62, you get 70% of your full check. But if you wait until 70, you get 124%. That is a massive difference. You are essentially getting a check that is 54% larger every month for the rest of your life. For many, this is the moment of truth. You see exactly how much money can be left on the table, but you have to live long enough to win this game. Here is where the math flips. The break-even point typically happens between ages 80 and 83. If you live longer than that age, the person who waited wins the mathematical game. If not, the person who filed early wins. Most people fear they simply won't live long enough to see the benefit of waiting until 70. Let us look at two neighbors, Eddie and Paul. Eddie takes his money at 62. He gets $2,100 a month. Paul waits until he is 70. His monthly check is $3,700. Every single month, Paul gets $1,600 more than Eddie. That is a massive difference in monthly security. But the real shock is their total lifetime benefits. If both live to age 85, Eddie has collected roughly $580,000. Paul has collected over $680,000.
That is a lifetime difference of over $100,000. Paul has a house-sized amount of money that Eddie walked away from. Knowing you are not leaving that wealth on the table can bring a peace of mind that is hard to value.
If you are past 62 and worried you missed your chance, there is still a strategy to consider. Let's look at what you can do today, even if you already started. Remember that escape hatch I mentioned? If you filed but haven't reached your 1-year anniversary yet, there is a way to hit the reset button. You can perform what is called a withdrawal of application. You must repay every dollar you receive to the SSA, but it lets you restart your claim later with a much higher monthly check. It is the only true do-over in the entire system. So, what are some steps to consider right now for your retirement? First, many retirees create a My Social Security account at ssa.gov. This gives you your actual projected numbers, not just a guess. Second, look at your family health history. If your relatives lived into their late 80s or 90s, waiting until 70 may provide the strongest mathematical outcome for your situation. That $100,000 gap is a mathematical reality for many. It is simple math applied over 20 or 30 years of retirement. Always run your own numbers on the official ssa.gov website before making a final choice. The system is complex, but once you do the math, the path usually reveals itself. You worked hard for this money, and you deserve every penny of it. Looking at your statement and running these numbers for your own household can help provide clarity today. If this helped you see the math clearly, consider subscribing for more retirement strategy updates.